So autumn has come to Denmark, and that means beautiful colors. And just like in England and in Sweden and in so many other places, we get a lot of wind during autumn. Well, we can get a lot of wind. And when the tree starts to change, it's not certain that we will actually get the beautiful colors, because they start turning, then the wind comes, and then all the beautiful leaves blows off. So it is about just using the days that you actually get for photography. Jump on the situation when it presents itself, and that is just what I'm doing today. So because it's autumn, it's time to get back to all the different spots that I have pre-visualized throughout the year. One of such locations is actually just right here, with this birch tree hanging over the trail, but it haven't turned quite yellow enough yet, so I'll wait for that. So get back to all the different places that I've pre-visualized with autumn colors, and then basically just get the photo. There's not much about it. It's a little bit windy today, so let's see if I can't deal with that. So you might be able to recognize this location from my second Tales from the Forest video, where I was here on a very foggy morning. Now it's a couple of months later, and yeah, as you can see, autumn colors, and it's very, very pretty. So I was actually here earlier today, and just to scout out the area and see how it was going with the autumn leaves, and to my big surprise, this tree actually was turning way faster than most of the other birch or big birch trees here in this forest. So I really just had to get home, get my gear, and then come back here. And from what I can see, it was probably a little bit better earlier today because the sun was further up in the sky. So I had the entire tree backlit. Now I just have to hope that the clouds will go away when the sun is within the holes of the background trees, so the sun can actually come down and hit the entire tree and backlight the entire tree. From what I can see, it is possible. It's just a question about waiting it out. So I've come out to Store Troldhøj, which is the same location as I was this winter when I had Hoarfrost. If you haven't watched that video, be sure to check it out via the link up here somewhere. And what I had imagined was to have this birch tree standing out with all the colorful leaves. But I'm I don't know, a week too late, maybe only a few days. And most of the autumn colors have already dropped from that tree. So I still have it with some autumn colors in the background, and I actually think it's still a pretty decent photo. It's just not what I had imagined, so I guess I will have to wait for next year. So at this specific location here, it doesn't really make much sense to go for the big vista. Today is a pretty bleh day when it comes to light. We have low-hanging clouds, and maybe the sun will peek through a little bit from time to time, but it won't give any like direct light, so I can't even backlit some of the trees. It's a bit flat. So what I'm doing is I've just popped on the long lens, as you can see here, and I'm just picking out anything that looks interesting, and hopefully I will get more than this one shot, but at least I got this shot. So I will go around, explore a little bit more, and let's see if I find something. So I moved to another location, and this is also a photo I got in my Hoarfrost video, but this is more along the lines of what I had imagined I would go for at the other location. A bit more autumn colors on the tree, and then we have the white branches going through all these autumn leaves. So yeah, it's super simple, just straight on f5.6. just to get the background a little bit blurred, about 200 millimeter. So I just get like the center of the tree. More of an abstract photo that really makes the autumn vibe come through. So I've come out to this beautiful beech forest, you see here in the background, and it is so full of fog. So it's just incredibly beautiful, incredibly silent, and you can like hear like raindrops. Oh, well, it's not raindrops, I think. I don't know. Coming down through the trees. So I haven't been to this forest yet in any of my videos, but I have explored it on a couple of occasions. And what's interesting about autumn is how you can see how some species of trees change first, and then over time the other trees change. So here in the end, the beech trees and oak trees have also changed colors. So right now, this beech forest, I have all the leaves here in the background that are still, some of them are still green, but some of the others are yellow, which is very pretty. So the first spot I've come to is very simple. I have a couple of beech trees on either side of this forest path, and just, the forest path leading into the scene. And then all the beech trees, which are getting less and less contrasty through the scene, just to show a good amount of depth. So in that way you kind of feel that the image is 3D-ish. Very beautiful, very calm scene. You should be able to get that feeling of the calm forest. So I just turned the camera around so you can see here the scene I shot before, here in the background. That's the good thing about a forest trail, that it might work in both directions. So I actually really like the scene, maybe better than the first one. So yeah, the concept is exactly the same. I have a couple of beech trees on either side of the road, and then more beech trees along the road into the scene. Since it's downhill, the trees are more pronounced in this one, I think, so I have less of the trail and more of the actual forest. So I think I prefer this one, at least here in the forest. I'm not sure when I come back behind the computer. Another trick is just to clean your scene for fallen branches and so forth. They can clutter up the scene and make it a little bit more messy than you would actually like when you see it on a final big print. So yeah, it's a nice scene, nice place. I like this. So this forest is actually known, well, not widely known, but it's known for these boulders you see here. They've been brought here during the last ice age, and you usually don't really see big boulders like this in any Danish forest just laying around. And it's quite fascinating, because we have no mountains in Denmark, and we have a few rocks on the island of Bornholm, which is just south of Sweden. Then we have like a single rock in the northern part of Jutland, but besides that, you don't really see much of this in Denmark. So obviously, for a person from Denmark, big rocks like this, it's not something you see every day. So I've come by this super interesting composition where we have the road leading through the scene, and then we have this tree and the other trees that are kind of bending in over the road. So we get this weird twirl in the photo where the road is going one way and the trees are like bending the other way. I've tried both with myself in the scene and without myself, and I'm not exactly sure which one I prefer, but it's a really cool composition. So right now I've just put on the long lens and I'm just zooming into different details I see in the forest, like single yellow branches or branches with yellow leaves against just like a lot of columns of tree trunks in the background. And it's so good. It's so simple, it's so minimalistic, and this place is just so atmospheric. Like, there's a calming feeling to it. So it's just beautiful, beautiful. I've been waiting for a couple of months for conditions like this, and it's just so good when you actually get it. So this was Tales from the Forest 5. It was a little bit like, stretched out. It wasn't like from one single morning, but from 3 different locations over a stretch of a month. And this just goes to show that even though the silver birches turn first, at least here in Denmark where I am, the beech trees won't turn before later. So we actually have quite a long stretch of autumn colors. There's quite a lot of green still in this forest, even though I'm more or less in the middle of November right now. So be sure to also check out my original videos from the 2 first locations. The one with Hoarfrost and the second Tales from the Forest episode, if you haven't seen them yet, or if you want to rewatch them. If you want to learn even more about composition, be sure to check out my ebook. There's a link down in the description. I have a free light version you can get by signing up to my newsletter, or you can just get the full version. If you enjoyed this video, I would highly appreciate both a like and a comment, and thank you so much for watching.